Now, I'm going to go over a lesson here, and this is going to get the answers for a bull market. Now, basically, there's two types of markets. There's a bull market, and this is where there's optimism and people believe prices are going up. And then there's a bear market, and this is believe where prices are going down. And during this time, prices are going down. Now, whether it's true or not, back in the day, the market was originated by people putting actual farm animals, and people came to buy and sell in the market. And the theory was, if a bear came in and ate up your food and livestock, then you took a loss. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but uh, that's what they say. So a bear market is one of fear, and a bull market is one of optimism and prices going up. Um, Now, as people become overinflated in terms of their stock market optimism, as they call it, they have a bubble. And what I'm trying to say is that where everybody jumps on the bandwagon and says tech stocks are the only thing we should buy, or housing stocks are the only thing we should buy. And eventually it reaches the peak, and people say, you know what, maybe that $100,000 house really isn't worth $200,000. And they say this is a bubble and it burst. And people stop paying that much for houses and that stock. And the price corrects itself. And they call that an auto correction. And the price eventually goes back up, at least you hope. Well, the very first economic bubble was in Dutch Holland. And by the way, a lot of people say that bubbles don't exist. It's an interesting argument. But in Dutch, they had floors set up essentially like stockbrokers. And in these floors, people came to buy and sell, believe it or not, tulip buds. And as this little fiasco went on, the price of one tulip bud had rose to the cost of an entire estate. In other words, the price of one tulip bud had rose to the price of one house. And you don't believe me, you can look this up. And eventually what happened is the market burst. People realized that a tulip bud ain't worth $100,000, and they stopped buying them, and the Dutch economy was crashed for decades. Let me stop talking here so I can move forward. But this is the reason. This little fancy little tulip here, a virus hit that flower and made it all these beautiful colors, and that's what caused the hype. Um, we recently had a bubble burst in 2008, but the original one that you probably remember and have read of was the Black Friday, and it's not a shopping holiday. The original Black Friday was the start of the Great Depression, and during this time frame, the stock market crashed. There was a great bubble to where stocks that people thought would never end, and the rise in prices people said would never end. Well, eventually they did, and they crashed. And this is what they call a bubble, and this is what they call a stock market crash. This was the Great Depression. But what I'm showing you here was in 2008. This was the most recent bubble we had, and all the major banks crashed. 2008. I can show you Citigroup. I can show you Bank of America. Could show you many more. And some did counterreact. Some did come back up, but have not reached the peaks that they once were. And this is another example of Ford Motor Companies. But many crashed. Some did counter correct and come back, but it's not guaranteed. All right, in this video, I think I may have rumbled a little bit. So that's what you got. Use that to answer the worksheet. Thank you for listening.